Will I jump on the Josh Allen train like everyone else this weekend?
This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We spread it out today. NFL, NHL, NBA. We're going to be big in Western New York. The people of Buffalo are going to love us. We're talking Bills and Sabres today on the show as two of our picks. Unfortunately, we couldn't get University of Buffalo to mix in for college basketball, but, you know, things happen. So, Lee, with that being said, Josh Allen and the Bills, they got through their first hurdle, winning at Jacksonville. Now you got to go to Denver and take on Bo Nix and the Broncos. Let's look at our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Way paid Sean Payton $20 million a year. By the way, it took me a second, Lee, before we get to this game to realize this was a playoff rematch from last year. Like, you forget that game even happened, that the Bills beat the Broncos at home. But now Buffalo travels to Denver. Broncos the 1 seed as they get their shot here coming up on Saturday at Mile High. We'll see what Bo Nix does. And Josh Allen, can he carry the day again for the Bills?
And I told everyone, you know, last week, Buffalo, they were the play last week against Jacksonville. Jacksonville just wasn't quite ready. So now I also mentioned Patrick Mahomes, not in the way anymore. Is this a year that Josh Allen does it and just steamrolls to the Super Bowl finally? Well, this is what's great about gambling. You can change your mind from week to week, from day to day. And there's a lot of things that happened in the game last week that really got me off here. Buffalo. And I was thinking Buffalo throughout the playoffs. Now they have to play a team that's rested. I think it's important. You know, some people say college football, remember, you know, the first round last year, those teams that sat for the first round, you know, they had trouble. Well, I think Denver is going to put in a great game plan here. They're going to play a team that is now all of a sudden banged up. Just look at Josh Allen. Had to be taken into the tent, possible concussion. You know, did he have a concussion? Didn't he? We don't know for sure. You know, we know how they sometimes manipulate the rules for special players. We do know that he had a hand injury. We know that he also had a twisted knee in the game here. So they've got to travel on the short week. They got to face a team. And I also forgot that they lost Denver last year 31-7. Buffalo was a 7.5-point favorite in that game, but the score was 10-7 at the half. It was close. Denver had to pay their dues, just like Jacksonville. This is a year later. This is a team that's on a 13-1 straight-up run at home. Their defense is scary good. Top 2, top 3 in the NFL. It's not going to be like Jacksonville. They're not going to wilt. They have high-end pass rushers. They have probably the best defensive secondary in the NFL. And Buffalo also lost one of their key receivers to an injury. He's out. Week 11 through week 18. I know Bo Nix struggled earlier in the year, but they're number 7, week 11 through 18 in EPA per dropback, and also number 8 in passing success rate. Revenge for last year's wild card loss here. Don't fall for the trap here. My lock of the day, level 3 lock all the way up. Denver lay the 1 point against Buffalo.
Yeah, not a lot of respect for the Broncos here in this spot. And Sean Payton, we know he's won a Super Bowl with the Saints, that he's been here before. This isn't a coaching advantage necessarily in the Buffalo side facing Sean Payton. And we got to see if Bo Nix can really step up here in his first home playoff start. And again, on the Josh Allen front, that he can only carry them so much when you're out of receivers, that you can't just plug. This isn't the Chiefs, really, where you could plug anyone in. The Bills just out of guys at this point.
Yeah, not getting separation at all. I mean, he can throw a great pass, but when that separation goes from a yard and a half down to a quarter of a yard, inches. It's tough for any quarterback to be successful. Obviously, Cook is amazing at running back, catching the ball out of the backfield. But I think this Denver defense is special and just playing on the short week, and they are beaten up. I think they're going to get sent home packing. And the question is, just like we discussed, a couple weeks ago with Baltimore and Pittsburgh, will the losing coach end up being out? Well, that was true. And then we said if Pittsburgh loses, will Mike Tomlin resign? He resigned. So, could it be Sean McDermott's out of a job? They lose by a touchdown or more. Don't be surprised if they make a move.
So, speaking of coaching moves, John Harbaugh seems very close to agreeing to become the head coach of the New York Giants. And we discussed this when Harbaugh was first out in Baltimore, that New York would be a spot for him for a lot of reasons. And, Lee, you were pretty much spot on with that. My reasoning with Harbaugh going there was there's not going to be a lot of pressure because you've had so many clowns in there that have been the coach of the Giants for years that Harbaugh's established, probably needed a change of scenery from Baltimore. He's got a good young quarterback in Jackson Dart. He'll get Neighbors back next year, get Scadaboo back next year. That really they'll embrace him because the Giants have struggled so much and need some kind of reputable coach that this will end up probably being the guy.
They need, I don't know if people remember this. John Harbaugh he was never a coordinator, I believe. I think he was just a special teams coach. They need an identity, and they're not just, there's nothing. They don't stand for anything. He's going to make them tough like he made the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously at the end with Lamar Jackson didn't want to practice much. From what I hear, also didn't want to practice in the mornings and lost control of the team. When your leader is not behind you, it's tough to be a really good coach. So, yeah, they had some injuries and other things happen, but I think he's going to be revitalized. He's going to make this Giants team. I don't know if they're going to be the New England Patriots of 2026, 27, but I will say this. I think there's a good chance they're 500 or better next year.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, with this division, we see that Washington, they had a lot of injuries, and Washington is what they are this year. Last year they overachieved. Who knows what Dallas? They're so all over the place, and even Philadelphia with all the talent they have, they're a mess too in a certain degree with their coaching staff and all the changes they've made. So maybe Harbaugh can get in and maybe not make the Giants a playoff team, but get them to 6 or 7 wins. And also injuries didn't help either. Like this team was all banged up.
I think more, Kevin. I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games.
Yeah, and we'll see how it turns out there. The NFC, we know, just like flips around every year. So we'll see what they do coming up this season, assuming Harbaugh ends up signing this deal. So now let's shift over to the NHL and full slate tonight. Very busy card. Let's go to the Eastern Conference with the Canadiens and the Sabres for our Hidden Gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
And the Buffalo Sabres, surprisingly, the hottest team in hockey over the last few weeks, 14-2 in the last 16 off a win over Philadelphia last night. So they're back at it tonight, hosting the Montreal Canadiens, and a big Atlantic Division battle between these two. The Canadiens ahead of the Sabres in the division. Still Tampa Bay and Detroit ahead of both of them. But right now, Buffalo just trying to get maybe to third place sooner or later. But I'm going to take the Buffalo Sabres in the first period here. And it's basically around a pick 'em or so. Now, one number I want to throw out, Lee, which is very interesting, that the Canadiens have played 10 games this year against teams with no rest. They have led after the first period one time, 1-4-5 in those games. So Montreal, and that game was at home, actually, that they led. So Montreal has struggled against unrested teams in the first period. Also, the Sabres 5-2-1, their last 8 in the first period at home. And in 4 of the past 5, they have not allowed a goal in the first period. They gave 2 to the Panthers the other night on Monday in their loss, one of the 2 losses they had during the stretch. I think Buffalo, in spite of coming out and playing last night, back at it tonight, I think they come out to a strong start. We're going to take the Buffalo Sabres first period against Montreal as our NHL Hidden Gem.
Okay, I can go with it. So part of your reasoning is, they're going to catch maybe Montreal in the first period and they have enough talent to score and maybe lead this game, but might just not have enough to finish. Is that part of it also?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, for some reason, Montreal, when you play a team, you would think if you are playing a team that is unrested, you would play well. But yet that's not the case. It's very weird how you're playing a team that is on the second of a back-to-back and you don't play well out of the gate. I don't know if you are waiting for later. Now, Montreal did lead Washington a few nights ago 1-0 and lost in overtime. So I don't know if maybe now the opposite, let's get off to a slow start and then come back and play better. But also Buffalo's been great over the past few weeks. So we're going to ride them and take them in the first period tonight against Montreal. Big Atlantic Division battle there in Western New York. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the NBA. Celtics and the Heat, they have a nice history together. And we're going to talk about that game straight ahead as we continue this Thursday edition of Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and we have reached the NFL playoffs. We are in the divisional round, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets you like the most. You could open the profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. Also, the boost give you some more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. And you have all the choices. You have 4 great games coming up in this NFL divisional playoff round this weekend. 49ers Seahawks Saturday, Bills Broncos on Saturday. Also on Sunday, you have the Bears and the Rams and the Cold in Chicago. Also Texans Patriots in New England. So many choices you have with sides, totals, money lines, player props, all of them. Every play feels bigger, and also those boosts make your bets feel that way too. You make your picks, then you apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sports book partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. We continue Locked On Bets here on this Thursday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports wanted to remind you that for Monday's show, wall-to-wall national championship, Indiana and Miami at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. And we will have all the picks for that game Monday. So we have Hoosiers, Hurricanes. We'll be all set for that on Monday. So look forward to that show. So now NBA tonight in Miami. Not exactly Miami Gardens, more downtown Miami. It's the Celtics and the Heat as we now look at our wrong team favorite.
What the
WTF.
I'll say this really quickly. It's always annoying when the announcers say at Hard Rock Stadium, welcome back to South Beach. If you've been to Miami, you're not on South Beach. Just want to throw that one out. Same thing with Coral Gables, too. Same thing when they're at UM. It's not, That's not it. So just want to throw that out there. Not the same area. Okay. Celtics Heat tonight from, I was going to say the AAA, but the Kaseya Center. And the Celtics, 2.5-point favorite over the Heat. Lee, what do you like here as far as wrong team favorite? Going to assume you're going to lean with the home team.
Well, so I went to the game on Tuesday night. And I'm watching this Heat team, and I'm like, okay, 15-point lead at half. Starting to come together. And then the third quarter fell apart. I think they were trailing by maybe it was tied at the end of the third quarter, trailing by a basket. And then they were trailing by as many as 5 or 6 with like 3 to 4 minutes to go in the game on Tuesday night. I'm saying this team is just sliding. Then I saw something. So sometimes it's not how you bet. And when you go to a game, you know, I just didn't see anything that I liked, sat there and observed, and then all of a sudden, I saw the team come together in the last 3 to 4 minutes. We had Tyler Hero and Norman Powell on the floor together, and they had not looked good together. All of a sudden, they were feeding off each other, and Miami has a big 3. So it may not be, you know, LeBron, Wade, and you know, some of the others that have been there, but I will say this, Tyler Hero, when he's on, I mean, he doesn't lack for confidence, averaging almost 22 points a game. Norman Powell, averaging almost 24 points per game this year. Both those guys, Hero's missed probably 75, 80% of the season so far. Norman Powell hasn't been healthy last couple of weeks. Both finally as close to being 100% as they've been in a long time. The biggest problem also was Bam. Bam Adebayo had just gone through a horrific stretch. Just not been good this year, hitting just 45% of his shots. That's right, not three-pointers. This is a center hitting just 45% of his shots and 33% of his threes. Listen to what he had done so far in January from the field. And this is a guy that some of his shots from 2, 3, 5 feet away. 5 for 14, 5 for 13, 5 for 14, 3 for 11, 5 for 12, and 3 for 10. And then on Tuesday night, 11 for 15, 4 for 6 from three-point land for 29 points. So I just think Miami's coming together here. Boston also plays at the slowest pace of any NBA team. I think Miami's going to push it. They had been horrific over the last 10, 12 games. But as I told everyone, the NBA is pretty much set up into 10-game different periods. And I think Miami's going to go on a run here. Wrong team favorite. I like the Miami Heat tonight, +2 against Boston. People are coming in town for the championship game. The place is going to be rocking here. And I think the Heat sends the Boston Celtics packing. Wrong team favorite Miami Heat tonight at the what is it? Is it the Kaseya Center?
Kaseya Center, yeah. Still a AAA in our hearts, but the Kaseya Center
Right.
is and I'll tell you so, I gotta give Boston credit too. That without Jason Tatum this year, they got off to a bit of a slow start, and you could thought, okay, well, maybe the Celtics, they still have Jaylen Brown, they still have talent on that team, but without their best player, that they would step back. But Boston's played well, but also off a couple losses now, a surprising loss at Indiana a few nights ago as well.
Right.
So we'll see if the Heat can send them to a third consecutive defeat. All right, Lee, like you mentioned, college football national championship coming up Monday, Indiana and Miami. Also, the divisional playoffs this weekend. So what's going on with Paramount Sports? A lot of big games for people to bet on.
Yeah, and also you want to tune in tomorrow. We are going to have a jam-packed show. Football tomorrow, football heavy. We'll also probably have a YouTube short on one of the NFL playoff games, and college football, obviously the championship game Monday night. So tune in tomorrow and Monday, maybe the biggest shows we've ever had. You want to hop on board? It's going to be Lee's Fab Five. All four games selections here in the NFL for the playoffs this week, and the college football championship game selection, just $75. One place, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as we got a lot of football coming up. Very excited about it. Also, the podcast version you can find on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Type in Locked On Bets, and you'll be all set. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Thursday edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.